America has once again been shaken by the horror of a school shooting, a tragedy that unfolded not in a classroom, but inside a place of worship. On Wednesday morning, gunfire ripped through a Catholic mass being held for children at Annunciation Church in Minneapolis, Minnesota. 2 children, just 8 and 10 years old, were killed, and 17 others wounded, 14 of them children. For a nation still scarred by countless school shootings, this attack has reignited anger, grief, and a familiar debate. Why does this keep happening in the United States? Authorities say the gunman, identified as Robin Westman in their 20s, was heavily armed with a rifle, shotgun, and pistol. Dressed in black, Westman stood outside the church and fired dozens of rounds through the stained glass windows, striking school children seated in the pews. Police say the assailant appeared to act alone, leaving behind a trail of weapons at residences connected to them before taking their own life. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara described the attack as a deliberate act of violence against innocent children and other people worshiping, calling it an act of sheer cruelty and cowardice. The FBI has confirmed it is investigating the massacre as a possible act of terrorism and hate crime. Among the survivors is 5th grader Weston Halzen, who recalled the horror of watching his friend take a bullet while trying to shield him. "The shots were right next to me," Halzen told reporters. "I think I got gunpowder on my neck." The city's mayor, Jacob Frey, condemned attempts by some commentators to use the shooter's gender identity to stigmatize the transgender community, reminding Americans that anyone who is using this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community has lost their sense of common humanity. From the Vatican, Pope Leo XIV, the first American-born pope, called the shooting a terrible tragedy and said he was praying for the victims during this extremely difficult time. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz said he was heartbroken that children had to face such violence in their very first week of school. And President Donald Trump described the massacre as a terrible situation, noting that the FBI and federal agencies were already involved. This marks the 146th school-related attack in the United States in 2025 alone, according to the K-12 school shooting database. To put this into perspective, America has recorded more than 1,200 school shootings in the past 5 years, averaging nearly one every other day. The deadliest of these in recent memory include the Robb Elementary School massacre in Uvalde, Texas in 2022, where 19 children and 2 teachers were killed, and the 2018 Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School shooting in Parkland, Florida, where 17 lives were lost. Despite repeated tragedies, efforts to pass stricter gun control laws, including background checks and limits on assault weapons, continue to face strong opposition from conservative lawmakers and gun rights groups. Critics argue that while politicians send thoughts and prayers, the root causes, easy access to firearms and insufficient safeguards, remain unaddressed. In Minneapolis, the outrage was immediate. Protesters gathered near Annunciation Church demanding action, saying that no parent should fear for their child's safety at school or even in a place of worship. 2 young lives were cut short and countless more traumatized in yet another school shooting that many Americans believe could have been prevented. As the FBI continues its investigation, the nation is left grappling with the same haunting question it has asked far too often: how many more children must die before something changes?